Alpha. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Father James. I'm drinking from my Alpha coffee mug. I wonder why. I'm also coming to you from the park across the street from the church, Sullivan's Pond. And I know some of you watch this video from elsewhere, but if you're a local in Dartmouth, Sullivan's Pond is a very well-known area, a landmark. And I grew up in Dartmouth. I came to Dartmouth from Scotland in the early 80s. I did my high school years here. And so there's a lot of memories I have associated with certain landmarks. And I think back to those years, and if you'd told me that fast forward so many years later, I'd be sitting here as the parish priest of this parish, I would never have believed you. My life was changed, not in the sense of becoming a priest, but the sense of being a follower of Jesus, because someone invited me. Actually, several people invited me to go on a retreat weekend that initially I wasn't very interested in. I think there was a couple of family members, cousins, who had experienced this retreat, and they invited me. And then there was one of my classmates, who her locker was a couple of lockers down from where I was. She actually invited me as well. And funny enough, she occasionally comes to weekday mass here now. Well, I just want to talk to you today about the power of invitation, because one invitation didn't really do it. Two, by the time I had a third invitation, I began to seriously consider going on this retreat weekend, and with some real encouragement from other people, I did go on it. And on that weekend, I encountered Jesus in a way that changed my life. I believed in Jesus, I believed in God, I knew about Jesus, but in this retreat weekend, I experienced God. I tasted God in a sense. Think of trying to describe the taste of coffee to someone who's never tasted coffee. What would you say? How would you describe it? There's more, of course, to coffee than just the taste. Something called caffeine. But the easiest way to help people understand what coffee is to say, taste and see. Take a drink and see for yourself. Come and experience it. One of the disciples who spent time with Jesus when he said, come and see, was Philip. And we hear this in John's Gospel. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, we found him about whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth. Nathanael said to him, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Philip said to him, come and see. An invitation can even neutralize toxic negativity or cynicism or skepticism. Studies show that with regards to Alpha, for every 5 invitations made, one person will say yes. 5 made, one person will say yes. Imagine if everyone in our church, imagine every adult in our church who comes to Mass this past weekend, or two weekends ago, imagine if 600, let's round it down to 500, easier in the math. Imagine if 500 people made an invitation to one person, 1 in 5 say yes. That would be 100 people would come and experience Alpha. So this weekend you're going to get this card, and you'll see the card has a place to write 3 names, and the starting point is to pray for them. And these are people you already know, people you care for, people you love. To pray for them, and then to look for an opportunity to invite them. And the invitation doesn't have to be overly awkward. You can just say, hey, there's this thing going that my church does to help people look into spiritual questions. It's from a Christian perspective. It's called Alpha. Why don't you come and see? Come and see. We know that Alpha is a 10-week program, but you don't have to say, will you sign up for a 10-week program? Just say, come and check out the first week. There's food, there's a talk, and there is some small group discussion afterwards. So you'll get this card, and then this other card is an invitation, a way you can invite people, unpack the Christian faith together. There's a QR code at the back here, which if you scan it with your phone, will take you to the registration page for Alpha for our parish. So morning Alpha, evening Alpha, and youth Alpha. If you are watching, you are a parishioner and you haven't yet experienced Alpha, why don't you try Alpha as well? And again, think, pray, reflect for people that you might invite. In the end, that's all we're responsible for, is to say, come and see, just as we heard in the gospel. The rest is up to the Lord. So let's pray that the Lord will place on our hearts the names of people we can invite. God bless.